Okay, guys. Yeah, I'm so sorry about that. Was having some connection issues on the last live stream. Um, let's see. Hopefully, you guys can find this new link here. I kind of had to nuke the old stream. It was having connectivity issues. Anyway, give me a like, give me a comment below. Let me know how I'm coming through. Am I coming through loud and clear? Let me know in the comments. So let's see, let people come on over. I'm just going to give people a minute or two to come on over. Okay, John said the connection is much better. Okay, great. Awesome. So let me go ahead and start over. So for this episode today, I'm going to fill you guys in on what's been going on in the past 30 days. So like I was saying on the live stream before it got cut off, in the last 30 days, I've basically been busy training a new hire. So we hired a media buyer from South America who is somebody that's been following us since like 2017, 2018. He'd actually applied to work with us back then, but we weren't really hiring at the time. This year, we've been hiring a lot more aggressively. And this individual reached out to me. I'm going to keep his name private just for person. I don't want anyone to poach him from our company or anything like that. But let's just call this person Ed. So Ed reached out to us and he was really, really motivated to work with us. So he was working for sort of a traditional ad agency and he didn't really like his job. He wasn't getting paid enough. He didn't really like his boss. And, he really wanted to be making more money. He'd been following our YouTube channel and saw some of the earlier videos that I did on Traffic Talk where I talked about sort of the results that some of our media buyers were getting and, how our company works. And he really took a leap of faith. So I really liked this individual right off the bat. I could tell that he was like very hungry and very motivated. And he also had some skills that we were looking for. Like he had ran affiliate campaigns in the past. He had pretty good video editing skills and good media buying experience. And what I really liked about this individual was that basically he was willing to go all in with us. And you know, to me, that it to me, I really don't take that lightly. Like if somebody is willing to quit their job and to go all in and take a leap of faith that, I'm going to make things work with them and, our company is going to, really take their career to the next level. I really don't take that lightly. And that was the case with this individual. So Ed was basically willing to quit his job entirely before even running profitable campaigns with us, before even really seeing any results. He just, he had been following us for a number of years and really trusted us and liked us and was willing to take that leap of faith. And, I appreciate that. So I'm going to tell the story about how this individual basically went from zero at the beginning of the month here at March to now doing, here at the end of March, around 10 to 15K a day in revenue, which is equating to about like 2 to 4K a day in profit. I'm going to talk about sort of what were the qualities of this individual that really helped him succeed because it wasn't all me. It wasn't all just my help and things that I told him to do that made him successful. I think that he had some very specific qualities and mindsets coming into it that really enabled him to succeed. Um, so, first things first, like I said, Ed was very, very hungry and motivated. He quit his job and went all in, and he really had a no plan B mentality. Like, what he said to me during the interview is that, he really had no plan B. Like, he was going to quit his job, and either it was going to work with us or, he was going to be out of luck. And he said that he was willing to just do whatever it took to become successful. So right away, as soon as he came on with us full time, we went through like a couple week transition period. towards the end of February, where he was in the process of putting his 2 weeks in and leaving his old job. And there was only so much he could do when he was working another job full time. But I could tell right away, as soon as he came on full time, that he was working very, very hard. So, we really loaded him up with work. Like, we gave him different campaigns, different tasks every single day to work on. And I'm not even kidding. I think he stayed up until like 3 in the morning every single night for his first month with us, just hustling and hustling. Um, just really doing everything that he possibly could to go above and beyond with any tasks that we gave him. So, not only did he come into it with sort of a no plan B mentality, he burned all the bridges. He quit his old job, told the boss he was out of there, put his 2 weeks in, and then backed it up by basically working tirelessly on everything that we gave him to work on. So some other qualities that he had that really helped him succeed was that he followed instructions very, very closely. So whenever I told him to do something, it would be done exactly like I asked him to. And if there was any confusion, he was very, very good about like clearing that up right away and asking the right questions. Um, and I think one thing that was very important was basically to identify his strengths and weaknesses. So, as an affiliate, you can take note of like the work ethic and the mindset of having no plan B. Um, but one thing that we really had to do at first was basically identify this individual Ed's strengths and weaknesses when it came to running campaigns. So I wasn't really able to find out specifically all the strengths and weaknesses until we really got into the trenches and started launching campaigns. And I was able to see patterns between different things that he was doing to really start to identify those strengths and weaknesses. So, first things first, I noticed that like his main strengths were number one, video editing. So he was very good at producing video ads. And B, he was very good at media buying. So, he was very organized and was just good at like running campaigns in general. I mean, knew the ins and outs of the traffic sources, knew he was working for an agency, so he had plenty of ad buying experience. But yeah, that was definitely helpful. So one area that we kind of identified as a weak point at first was basically just his copywriting, because this individual was from South America, and English was not his first language. And I just noticed that there were just like minor little errors in the ad copy, and maybe they weren't like as strong as they could have been. So um, basically, it took me like a couple of weeks to really like identify this, and a lot of the errors were just like so minor that I didn't even really think about it at first. But I realized that basically the only thing holding him back was just like some minor issues with the ad copy about, maybe little things like the attention grabber not really being there in the first sentence of the script, or just little nuances that can really be make or break for ad copy. So um, what we did once we identified that weak point is we really just tried to help as much as we can. Basically, it was me working with him every single day on just improving in copywriting. So, um, I'd have him write a script, and then he would submit it to me, and then I would basically read it, and then I would, use my own expertise to like rewrite certain aspects of the copy, and then explain sort of why I did that and what impacts that would make on the conversion rate. And yeah, it was really interesting. So once I helped him out and sort of tweaked this little missing piece of the puzzle with him, immediately his ads started converting. So the first couple weeks, like, we were losing money. Like earlier, first couple weeks in March, we were unprofitable on campaigns. Like, things were getting like minus 50% ROI. and we tested a handful of different campaigns, and it was kind of all similar results. But once we were able to basically identify this weak point and make these incremental improvements, um, things started to shift like really dramatically. So, um, you know, he had his first profitable day one day when we were just testing things low budget. Like he spent like $100 and earned back $200 on a campaign. And once I saw that the results were there, it was really off to the races because like, the best part about being an affiliate is that once you find a campaign that profits, even at just a really low budget, it's just a simple matter of pressing duplicate on the ad set and increasing the budget and seeing if the ROI holds. So within just like 2 or 3 days of that initial profit, we were then doing over $10,000 a day in revenue. Um, Simply like we just simply took the winning ad that was doing, spending $100 a day, earning back $200 a day, press duplicate on the ad set, like 50 plus times, however many, um, launched it the next day, and did over like 10 grand at like a 30-40% profit margin. So um now we're a couple weeks now. I guess it's really only been about like 10 days since he's been profitable, but I think he's been consistently doing like over 10K, between like 10 to 15K a day in revenue now, over the last 10 days. So this was a huge breakthrough. He had told me that he had never made that much money before in his life. He's earning basically 20% of the profit that a campaign generates. So, um, if he was earning 4 grand a day in profit, he's taking home $800 a day. Multiply $800 over, a month. That's like a pretty good, like 20K a month, like, income, So anyways, I'm really proud of this individual. I'm really happy with just the way that they persisted through some of these challenges, because it wasn't easy at first. Like there was so much uncertainty in the beginning because he quit his job, and for the first couple weeks he was not profitable and every campaign was losing money. And I'm sure what was going through his mind is like, oh no, I just quit my job. I'm working with Peter and Tyler now. I'm not showing them good results right away. Like I want to, show them that I can make money. And when that wasn't happening after the first couple weeks, I could tell that he was starting to feel stuck and he was starting to feel a little bit discouraged. But we sort of worked together to like push through these barriers in his mindset. And a lot of it just came down to like realizing that there were a lot of incremental improvements like that were happening along the way. Every day that we were working together, little issues that were preventing us from being profitable were then we were overcoming these obstacles incrementally. And a lot of things happened in the first couple weeks that were outside of our control too, like things getting shut down. um, I don't remember all the little issues, like we might have lost an ad account, or weird little things that happened that like prevented us from you know having getting traffic going. So yeah, I mean, as an affiliate, there's always going to be these little sort of barriers and obstacles in your way. And it doesn't matter at what scale you're at. I mean, you could be a newbie that's just trying to get profitable, or you could be someone at my level who's just trying to, double their revenue this year, something like that, and you're trying to figure out how to do that. There's always going to be these little obstacles, but I think the biggest thing that you need to do, and I think the biggest takeaway from this lesson, is just to not get too discouraged at the little problems that come up, and really try to focus more on just the incremental improvements that you're making along the way. So if you can identify like what your weak points are, then you can improve them. So if video editing is your weak skill, then go through some YouTube classes on how to do, video editing. If copywriting is an issue for you, then go on an a spy tool like Ad Spy and look at some of the top competitor ads, and really dissect line by line of their ad copy, like what's making this work and what's making this convert. So no matter sort of what the missing piece of the puzzle is, the first step is to just identify what that missing piece is. And then from there, obviously, you can then double down on filling in that missing piece. So, of course, it helps to have a mentor. I mean, I was working with him one on one every day, and I'm very experienced, so I was able to sort of fill in those gaps pretty quickly. But even if you were on your own, I think the best thing that you can do is just identify what the weakest link is of your skill sets, and just double down on improving them. Or you could even bring in somebody else that has the expertise to help you. Okay. Um, so let's talk a little bit about, just in general, like what are company cultures like. So if you're kind of interested in like working with our company as a media buyer, let's talk about sort of what that's like. So first and foremost, we're very, very picky on who we select as a media buyer. I'm sure you guys understand. We want people that are coming in with good skill sets. I mean, you don't necessarily have to be like the most experienced affiliate in the world, but if you have skill sets like video editing, you can produce like really good video ads, or you write good copy. But you're not as good on the media buying side. Like, you don't need to be perfect in every single area, but we do look for just like basic skills like video editing or copywriting that will help get profitable. Once we do hire a media buyer, we usually go through like a several week trial process to make sure that we're working well together. So, I usually, like, I don't want to hire somebody and then like fully commit to like a long term, employment with them. I want to go through like a several week trial process to just make sure that like we're working well together and that there's no issues. Um, so yeah, I mean, we had to have a lot of people go through the trial process actually in order to find this one media buyer. So I think in the last couple months, I've had about 4 or 5 different people go through this 2-week trial process that I basically parted ways with at the end of the trial because I just didn't think that they were the best fit. But this individual, I really liked a lot, and I could tell that he had the skills, and he was very, very hungry and motivated, and he made it through the trial process, and now is fully profiting on campaigns and scaling up more from here. Um, so after the trial process completes, our goal is to have that media buyer get profitable and be on a 20% profit share. But we also will guarantee a base rate salary of about 4K a month. So the 4K a month salary, it's not much, but it's just so that you can meet like basic living expenses and stuff like that before you get profitable with us. Because really, it can take about 2 to 3 months usually for a new media buyer to get profitable with us, because there's so much testing involved with finding a winning campaign. It can just take a couple months. Like, even if we're working with somebody one on one every day, it can take us a couple months to find like a new home run campaign. So, like, during this first couple months, we'll work like very closely one on one with the media buyers, just to make sure that we're overcoming these obstacles and making these incremental improvements every day, and just to make sure that they're on the right track to becoming profitable. Um, so yeah, we really have like a small and intimate team on our media buying side, and we really try to help our media buyers as much as possible by looking over every ad that they make, reading every line of copy. I'll do data analytics on their campaigns every day and make recommendations accordingly. And we also do try to start our media buyers off on like proven campaigns at first so that they can get profitable a little bit quicker rather than testing like a bunch of like unproven stuff that we're not sure how it's going to do. Um, so yeah, I mean, like once a media buyer becomes profitable and starts to scale on something proven, then we'll have them branch out and test more like unproven verticals so that we can try to pioneer like new campaigns and new verticals and really begin to stack campaigns like we talk about. So, um, another aspect of our company is that like we're really all about teamwork. So, a handful of years ago, like we really used to have our media buyers like in their own little like silos where they didn't really know each other, and they weren't really like sharing what each other were doing, just because like we had the mindset that like we didn't want our media buyers to get like distracted by like what other media buyers were working on. Maybe they're working on two different verticals, and we want one person to focus on one thing and not get distracted by some other campaign that another person's scaling. But now we're really all about teamwork. So when we find a winning vertical, like we'll like really have our team collaborate together, and we'll really brainstorm with different ideas. And if one person's getting stuck on something and they can't get profitable, we'll loop in our other media buyers that are running things at scale to help out. If somebody's having an issue, if somebody can't figure out something, like they're having a technical problem, or they just can't get something to work. We're really like this year specifically, like we're really a lot more about like collaboration with our team members. So now our media buyers know each other. Whenever our media buyers have an issue, like they can bring it up with another media buyer that maybe isn't having the same issue. So um our media buyers, like we want them to feel like they have like a solid team to back them up. And when they're stuck or they're having a problem, we don't want them to feel like they're just like in their own silo, and no one is there to help them, and they just have to figure out everything. Like um so yeah, I mean, we'll help our media, like me and my brother Peter will help our media buyers will help each other. And we found out that this really has just like a really like positive impact. I mean, if a media buyer is stuck trying to figure something out that another media buyer's already solved like months ago, why have somebody like struggling when they could easily be helped by one another. So another sort of aspect of our company is that we don't really have like scheduled calls or routine meetings. We actually have like no daily schedule whatsoever. So um, this is something that I picked up years ago, that like really not having a schedule, if you can, is really ideal. So um, I mean, I've been sort of in a position for the past couple years where I just don't keep any schedule. I mean, obviously, if I have to do a call with somebody and set a specific time on the calendar, I have to do that. But I try to limit that as much as possible. And within our company, like our media buyers, they don't have anything on their calendar really. I mean, they're not really doing calls with other like clients, or you know, hiring people and stuff like that. So they don't really have like any calls on their calendar, and I think that's really the best to promote creativity and also efficiency. So I think that having having like a busy calendar where you have like meetings all day and calls nonstop, it's really like um, really not conducive to like creativity, and just the monotony of that can just become like something that just kind of like kills your creativity and your motivation. So having like a completely open schedule allows you to basically think about like whatever you want all day and work on whatever you want. And that's kind of like the company culture that we strive for with our media buying team. Obviously there's certain employees, like we have a business development team that goes and gets new clients of ours, and for them it's a little bit different because their whole job is like doing calls with clients and onboarding advertisers. And there's a lot of calls and stuff like that involved. I mean, Peter ends up doing a lot of that sort of stuff too, because he's more on the client side. um, but for the roles in the company that are really like creativity based, like media buying, um, yeah, we really try to just leave our media buyers like up to their own devices, and just give them like room to be creative every day, not bog people down with meetings and pointless like um, scheduled things and stuff like that. Um, so another thing is that we really aim to have like our long standing media buyers, like the people that have been with us for more than like 3 or 4 months. We really aim to have them be like fully self sufficient. So like we have some media buyers that have been working with us for like 3 or 4 years, that, I mean, we only really talk like a couple times a week, where we'll, point them in direction of a campaign to test, or maybe help out with some ideas here and there. But really, our goal is to have all of our media buyers become like fully self-sufficient, where they can be working on a campaign and not really have to ask us much about it, and they can come up with their own ads and their own angles and scale things as they see fit. So that's really our goal, is to have people become like as self-sufficient as possible, but also, there is a sense of collaboration and teamwork there, as well. So, anyways, we are doing another round of hiring. So since we have our latest hire profitable now, it's not requiring so much of my time to help this individual like overcome all these little obstacles and stuff like that. We're kind of beyond that now. So now I have the capacity to hire another media buyer. So if you're interested in coming to work with our company, if you're interested in working with me one on one, and if you have skills that would be beneficial, like you've ran ads on like Facebook, TikTok, other major ad platforms. Um, if you have skills like video editing, those are mainly things that we're looking for in a media buyer. And you don't have to have every skill in the world, and we can help fill in the missing pieces of whatever skill isn't there. But if you're interested in working with us, reach out to me on Skype. My Skype name is tdayskype123, and I'll leave that in the comments below. Okay, so let's talk about some of the questions from the community. So we had a handful of people that asked questions before the live, and I want to help you guys work through some of your issues that you're having. Um, so Jocks asked, "Hi Tyler, I'm wondering, sometimes a campaign suddenly stops being profitable. For example, the conversion rate drops from 30% to 10%. When that happens, I don't know how long to wait slash accept this loss before pausing the ads. How do you judge if this is temporary? Thanks." So, if you're running a campaign and it suddenly stops being profitable, the first thing to analyze is um, two things. You first want to analyze the data on the offer. So let's say that you're running an offer and you're used to getting like a $3 EPC, but then suddenly that EPC drops to $1, and all of your ad costs are staying consistent. Like your cost per click is the same, everything's the same. In that case, there's probably an issue with the offer, and I would reach out to the advertiser to see, or the network to see, like what the problem is with the offer. And you might have to find a backup replacement offer. You might have to pause the offer entirely. Um, but usually, I mean, yeah, offer issues can happen, and they do, but usually it's an issue like with the ad platform itself, where let's say that getting clicks at $1, and then all of a sudden the next day they start costing $2 and your profit margin like completely disappears. That's usually more likely the case when a campaign like suddenly stops being profitable. And honestly, this is something that I run into like every single week. So if this is something that you have been running at scale, then the first thing to look at would be your creative fatigue with your audience. So um, oftentimes a problem where a campaign just suddenly stops being profitable is because you're running ads to like a very, very narrow audience. So if you're running ads to people that are in a very narrow demographic, and the audiences are very small, like less than a million people in the audience group, like those kind of campaigns can burn out very quickly because if you're running like a good sized budget to a smaller audience, then before long you're gonna have reached like um, a lot of the audience that would be interested in the offer. So this is something that I ran into on a TikTok campaign like a week or two ago for an offer that um, only was operating in like a couple of states in the US. So the audience size was pretty small. Like the audience was only about 800,000 people, and we fired up this campaign, and we had a really good ad that we found. So our profit was really good. And the first day we spent about 2K and made it back about 4K, and made, 2 grand in profit. And the second day, we spent 2K and earned back like 3K. And profit was a little bit less. The third day, we spent 2K and earned back like 1,800. We actually lost money on the third day to the same ad where 2 days ago it was completely profitable. And what I realized, I had a suspicion on this, but what I realized is that the audience was just so small that my creative literally burned out in like 2 or 3 days. So we were running this campaign on TikTok. Our CPMs were super cheap, like only a couple, $1 or $2 CPMs. And within like a 10 grand sort of ad spend range, like 5 or 10 grand of ad spend, we'd actually reached about um, 500K out of our 800K audience in reach. And I realized that like our campaign had just completely burnt out already when we had just found a winning ad. So oftentimes that's the problem. And there's only really two things that you can do in that case. So the first thing would be to just constantly be refreshing your creatives. So, if a creative burns out, then, try just doing subtle changes like changing, the opening line or the opening clip. Doing little changes like that can completely like revive an ad. But at the end of the day, if you want to keep that up, you're gonna need, if we were to keep that up and we wanted to keep spending like 2 grand a day and have a good profit margin with that small of an audience, we would have needed to be finding new winning ads like several times a week. And I don't know, sometimes that's just not worth it, right? So like we have other campaigns that are running more nationwide at huge budgets, spending, 30, 40K plus a day, and the creatives are not burning out until maybe like a month later, something like that, just because the audience is tens of millions of people. um, you know so really, if you're having an issue where your audience is really small, then I don't know, you might put in as much effort as you want to keep like refreshing your creatives. But at the end of the day, you might just have to be running a vertical that has a bigger audience, so that your campaign isn't burning out as quick. You can get bigger scale. So usually, like how big an audience is going to be dependent on how big you can scale. Even if you're super profitable, like I was, spending 2K, earning back 4K, um, you know, at the end of the day, I was reaching the entire audience like every 2 days. So um, yeah, I mean the campaign potential just wasn't really quite there. So we kind of just like paused that campaign and we moved on to testing a different campaign that was more broad and had a much bigger audience. So um, yeah, so that's just kind of one example. Sometimes Facebook can also just send like bad traffic one day or something like that. Um, but yeah, I mean, usually it's more having to do with creative fatigue than like an actual issue with the ad platform. But things like that can happen. So let's see. Dan asked, "Do your media buyers have to follow your specific method of testing and scaling, or do they have a little bit of freedom within this?" So yeah, I mean, look, we're definitely open to any ideas, right? Like the last thing that I want to do is like be shutting down somebody's ideas if they have an idea of like what to test or how they want to try to scale things. So, like, if one of our media buyers has an idea of like a certain campaign structure that they want to try out, um, or a scaling strategy that they want to try, usually I'm pretty supportive of that. But if the results aren't as good as like our specific method, then I'll have them go back to the way that we like to do things. But the last thing that I want to do is be like shooting down anybody's ideas, or we want to promote like as much sort of kind of innovation and creativity when it comes to trying new things as possible. Um, Thanks for that question, Dan. So another question from N. N asked, "Hello, at your scale, how are you handling bans from Facebook? Um, are you farming ad accounts? If you create other business managers, do they need to be with a different credit card? Please elaborate on how you manage this." So yeah, I mean, the with Facebook, like bans are always an issue, right? So what you need to do is you need to have backup accounts that you're running on, and these are not necessarily farmed ad accounts. So we run our ads on real people's Facebook profiles, um, that have years of like user history. So we're constantly recruiting people to basically let us use their Facebook profile to run ads on. Um, and Yeah, I mean, you always want to keep everything separate. So if you're running ads on a different profile, you want to have different credit card, different domain, different everything pretty much. And you need to have a lot of backups. So for our media buyers, like they have main accounts that they're running on, they have backup accounts that they're running on, then they have backup accounts for those backup accounts. And when something goes down, like if a user isn't like able to advertise anymore. It doesn't happen a whole lot, but sometimes like we have just had to kind of move on from using certain profiles. So yeah, I mean, how we manage this is that we basically have like a distributed network of users that allow us to use their profiles to run ads on, and we pay these people $100 a month. And what we do is we basically send a computer to their house and have the team viewer application installed on the computer. And you know the computer needs to be at their physical location, because if you try to log into somebody else's Facebook profile, and they're using their profile at their house or something like that, then it'll just get flagged for suspicious activity. So you need the physical location of the um, remote access, laptop to be at the user's physical house. And we have the TeamViewer app on our computer, and our media buyers can just basically access the account from their own computer wherever they're at. So um, I think that this is something that you really need to work on, setting up. Um, Obviously, there can be other workarounds like with handling bans, but usually like these are not as easy to achieve. So, you know, there's some advertisers that have agency accounts that are less, some people that run traffic that have agency accounts that are less prone to getting banned. There's other people that run Facebook ads that have sort of like, um, I don't know, just more like white glove reps that can turn back ad accounts. Stuff like that obviously can make a big difference. But if you're, just looking to run ads and you don't have like special connections like that, um, then yeah, just having backup accounts and also just being very, very smart about like um, what you're going to be running. So, try not to run anything too aggressive, um, stuff like that. So let's see. Miller asked for 30, 40K spend. Was this Facebook? Is this a lot of duplicates of smaller budgets, like 1K budget times 40 ad sets, or what scaling strategy for such big spend? So, yeah, so this, like most of our highest volume campaigns right now are all running on Facebook. So we have a handful of different campaigns that are spending north of 30K a day. Um, so usually the scaling strategy is actually like really simple. So um, we're using basically like a really simplified scaling strategy where we just have, we basically have, a winning ad set that we want to scale. And usually we have the payout set kind of low. So, if we'll have a payout set on the ad set level at basically 1x the offer payout. So let's just call it like $30 or something like that. And then what we'll do is we'll basically just duplicate it many, many times at the ad set level. Um, okay, so let's say that you want to spend, 30K a day. So, 30K divided by $30 would be about 1,000 ad sets at $30 a day. And you could have this in one campaign. You could spread this out across multiple different campaigns. You're actually going to need to do that because basically Facebook has a limitation where you can only run 250 ads from one fan page. So if I was spending like 30K a day, first of all, that would have to be spread out across several different ad accounts, probably, three or four different ad accounts. Not only that, but you're going to have to use about four different fan pages. Okay, so call it four different ad accounts, four different fan pages. I would share the same pixel between all of those different ad accounts so that you don't have to spend money like warming up new pixels across four different ad accounts. And you can just leverage one pixel that's already got all the data on it. So I would do about 250 of the dupes in each ad account. Um, about 250 ads in each ad account, all dupes of the winning ad, and I would multiply that across four different accounts. And yeah, it's really pretty simple. I mean, honestly, guys, it's not hard to scale to that level. I mean, you just need to have a profitable campaign. I mean, you need to basically be seeing about 100% ROI at low budget to, run to scale up, to 30K plus a day and have like an acceptable ROI of like 30% or something at that kind of scale. So, how big you can scale depends on A, your audience size, and B, your profitability. So if you have a very, very small audience, like the example that I told you about before, um, there was only so much we could do. We spent 2 grand and we burned out the campaign. But if you're running another vertical, like something more broad that has an audience of, tens of millions of people, then in your ROI is north of 100% at just like a low budget, like spending 100 a day, making back 200 a day. then literally it's just a matter of duplicating it and running the same thing across a handful of different ad accounts. And it's really that simple, guys. So um, don't worry too much about like the specific scaling strategy, even though it is important just to have the right setup and be running it across multiple ad accounts and even running it across like several different BMs or Facebook profiles, just in case one thing goes down, you can still have traffic running. Yeah. So, anyways, I hope that that explanation is helpful, sort of on the scaling strategy. Um, Next question. Kareem asked, "What are your top advices for beginners in the affiliate marketing space?" So, honestly, if I were brand new and I was coming in 2022 as a brand new affiliate, I personally would probably focus more on TikTok over Facebook. And the reason simply the reason is just cost. So we're running campaigns on both Facebook and TikTok. And what I notice is that the costs are basically just like 50% less on TikTok. So, if a campaign is getting, $1.50 cost per click on Facebook, then it'll get a 75-cent cost per click on TikTok. Um, and the two platforms are really similar. Like, um, the ad manager looks almost the same. And yeah, I mean, I'm really liking TikTok a lot actually, and I'm really like prioritizing like a lot of my focus now for new campaigns that I'm testing to test on TikTok because since the costs are cheaper, like we're just having a higher chance of getting profitable. And I've also been noticing less headache as far as like bans or losing accounts. So on TikTok, they tend to be more reasonable. Like if they don't like one of your ads, they'll just disapprove it, not, ban the entire account and stuff like that. So it's been a little bit easier to just like work with TikTok over Facebook. Granted, like, you know, so much of our volume, like all of our biggest volume campaigns right now are mainly running on Facebook, but mainly that's just because like we've just like we kind of have Facebook like figured out, like we've ran on it for years and years and we know all the little nuances and ins and outs. But if you're brand new, like that might be really frustrating to figure out. So I would probably recommend just starting on TikTok, and I would actually like one thing that we're doing well with on TikTok is basically just direct linking to affiliate offers. So, like on Facebook, it's like you can get banned for direct linking, and they flag you for like your redirects or like little things like that. But on TikTok, we've had like pretty reliable results, just literally copying and pasting our affiliate link as the destination URL and just running direct to the offer, which helps a lot with um, your conversion rate. So if like you're running a landing page and you're losing like 50 or 60% of the clicks just on your bridge page, then it does make it a little bit harder to profit. So if you're running something on TikTok and you're brand new and you're just direct linking, then all you need to focus on is the ad. And what you can do if you're brand new is get on a spy tool like Pippy Ads, Pipads. Pippy Ads is a TikTok spy tool, and just look up whatever ads are working for other people. And um, yeah, I mean, there is an opportunity to sort of like rip and run a little bit on TikTok. So I don't really advise like ripping other people's ads exactly, but we've found that we've been able to basically like take ads that are winning and like improve them a little bit. So like I'll notice some people run these video ads that don't have like captions in them for some reason, but like they're still doing well. So like take an ad like that, add your own captions on top of it. Boom, all of a sudden, it's converting 30-40% higher than the person who you ripped it from. Sometimes I'll find like really good like clips, but I don't really like their script that much, but I like the visual clips. So sometimes what I'll do is like I'll write my own script and then I'll use a voiceover tool like Speechelo to like do sort of like a naturally sounding like robot style voiceover, um, and just run my own script, but like incorporate other people's ad clips. So yeah, I mean, if I was new, I would probably just focus on like learning some basic little like video editing skills, like, how to like put captions over video or how to combine clips together, little things like that. And I would basically focus on just like finding ads that are working for other people and just like making like slight improvements to the ads and just launching my own like direct link campaigns on TikTok. So this is something that we're doing. I mean, I have media buyers in mind doing this every day for different verticals, and we found like a really high success rate with just doing that. So yeah, like Facebook, obviously, it's a beast of an ad platform. Like, we do over 100K a day on Facebook. There's so much volume and revenue potential there. But if you're new, it can be really frustrating to figure out like what to do to not get banned, little nuances like, oh, I need to warm up my fan page for a week before running the ads, or I don't want to create 5 fan pages in one day, or they might flag me for suspicious activity, and just little nuances like that can be frustrating to figure out if you're new, that aren't as much of a problem on TikTok. Alex asked, if you identify an offer that has promise, how much do you test before moving on? So honestly, not a whole lot. So yeah, I mean, if we're testing an offer, like let's just say that like we're testing something on TikTok. Um, we had an offer that we tested on TikTok where we made 5 ads and, put $20 a day budget behind each ad, which was about 2x the offer payout. And, basically ran like a $100 test budget to it one day. And we found that, a handful of the ads like did not get a conversion after spending 2x the offer payout. And one of the ads was profitable on spending just $20, and the offer payout was $10, and it was getting conversions at like $5 or $6. So we literally spent like $100 on testing, found a winning ad, and then the next day spent like 2,000 on it and made back 4,000. So that was like the same campaign that I told you about recently. But um yeah, I mean, really, like I would I don't know. I wouldn't spend a whole lot, especially if you're new. I would basically try to come up with like 5 or 10 completely like different angles and ads, not just one ad that you sort of like change a word or two. I would come up with like 5 or 10 completely different things, different angles. And I would just spend maybe like 2x the offer payout on each of them and see if anything works. And if not, it's up to you whether you want to keep testing, like if it's working for other people, or you know whatever. But I think a big mistake that a lot of newer affiliates make is they spend too much money on testing things that like aren't promising enough. So like I see it all the time, like a new affiliate gets recommended an offer, and they'll spend like 2 or 4K, and then we'll only earn back like $500 or something like that, and just take like an enormous loss on testing just like one campaign or one offer. You kind of want to avoid that, right? So I would um I would go for the idea of just like coming up with a list of different offers that you want to test, and don't be married to any one specific thing. And then B, like really putting in the work with coming up with like some really good variety of different ads, where you have enough different things being tested that you can really tell like if one thing is better than another. So um, I think that would be my advice. So yeah, like if you're new and you're testing a campaign on TikTok or something like that, yeah, just spend like $100 on 5 different. Obviously, if an offer payout is higher, like the example that I'm talking about, the offer payout was like $10. So, within dollars testing like 5 different ads. Like, we actually got a pretty good amount of data, like, on the conversions. But if an offer had like a $50 payout or something like that, I probably would have needed to maybe spend more, like 500 bucks or something, um, to really like get enough conversion data to make decisions based on. Okay, so let's see. Dan asked, how are you handling creatives? Are you finding slash paying influencers, or do media buyers create themselves on their phones? So, I think, yeah, I mean, I think a good place to start if you're new, is to just figure out like what's working for other people, right? So, people's creatives, like I talked about before, and then once you can find like a style of creative that works, like let's just say that you're running a car insurance campaign, and there's an ad of somebody sitting in their car holding up a car insurance bill, or scrolling through the offer page on their phone while like you know reading through some sort of like ad copy or something. Like, figure out what type of ad works, and then you can work on like going and replicating that yourself. Um so yeah, I mean, I would start by like just testing out what other people are doing, figuring out what style of ad is working. And then from there, you can maybe invest a little bit more into like hiring actors, doing it yourself if possible. I mean, if you're just getting started, I would really recommend trying to do everything that you can yourself. Like, yeah, but another option too is just to like basically use a combination of stock footage in your clips too. So, if you have a video that you're trying to run, and it doesn't need to all be UGC content necessarily. I think it's important to have UGC content in there just to spice things up. But if you want to incorporate some stock clips and stuff like that, you certainly can do that. But I would just make sure that you do a lot of testing on your script, because at the end of the day, like, the script and the copy that you're using in the ad is going to move the needle more than anything else. So, having attention grabbing UGC clips can certainly help. But if you don't have like a strong attention grabber in your script, or you don't have a good call to action in your script, then yeah. So, anyways, looks like that's all the questions for today. We're coming up on an hour here, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. Yeah, hope you guys got some good value out of this today. Like I said, I am doing another round of hiring right now. So if you want to come work for our company, if you want to work under me and be our next home run media buyer, don't be a stranger. Go ahead and reach out on Skype to me at tdays123, and I'm happy to get to know you, do a call, see what opportunities there could be. And anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.